Hey folks, welcome to Market Technical Analysis by InTheMoneyStocks.com for November 23rd, 2007. Well, Friday has come and gone, and today was a light session of trade in the markets, and we're going to go over a little bit of the interesting movements we saw today based on extremely light volume, and I really want to stress that today, extremely light volume. Now, you guys know, those of you that have been following my videos, I've expected a bounce over the last couple days, and it looks like today we finally got that bounce. And it was just a matter of time. I mean, you basically have Black Friday today, which, from all appearances, whether or not consumers were buying or not, the stores were flooded. I live in New York here by the city, and for sure the stores were packed out early in the morning from all the newscasts I've seen. And in tune with that, you had the markets extremely oversold, and I just didn't see them breaking down the markets on this holiday weekend here. Whether or not it happens next week is another story, but as of now, we did not get confirmation on a couple charts on a breakdown, and I will show you exactly what we're talking about in regards to that. We saw the NASDAQ gaining 34.5 points, or 1.3%. Beautiful bounce there. The S&P was up about 24 points, just a huge bounce overall. And the Dow up quite a bit as well, soaring almost 200 points on the day. All right. Now we're going to get into a couple charts here, and I want to just discuss a little bit of what we had talked about before. And looking over here at the ES chart, this is the daily chart. You can see exactly what happened. What we saw here today, and you can see here on the chart, you saw this nice rally, all right. And this was Wednesday, Wednesday, Thursday was obviously closed on the markets, and Friday. Now I'm going to look at the NASDAQ, and we're going to quickly touch base here. Now this is the first day. As of Wednesday, we had actually closed below the 200 moving average, and those of you that have been watching the video on Wednesday, you guys know I said, okay, folks, we closed below, but do we confirm? And I said, I don't think that we will confirm based on a couple reasons. Number one, just on this holiday short and light volume is too easy for big players to push the market up, and that's exactly what they did today. In addition, we also saw the Qs, and the Qs is one of the main things I follow here for a breakdown on the market. But you can see here, and let me get out my trend tools, you can see right here is that on the NASDAQ, we took out that low and closed below the 200. Here, we haven't even taken out the low from a week ago Monday. All right, so almost 2 weeks ago now, we hadn't actually taken out that low on the Qs, and the Qs is making a sideways channel. And you can see that here. You basically have this channel right here where we're bouncing up and down off of that. And until we close below this on the Qs, in which case we test the 200 on the Qs, if we do close below there, you can't say the rest of the market's going to break down, because tech right now is holding things up, especially the Googles, the Baidus, the Apples, and the Research in Motion players here. Okay, so that's one of the reasons. When I looked at this chart on Friday, even after we closed down, on Wednesday, even after we closed below the 200 on the NASDAQ, and I'll show you that close below again, you have that close right here. All right, this is where we closed on Wednesday, on that steep sell-off into the close. I said, all right, number one, we have to confirm it with a move lower today. And secondly, with the Qs chart looking the way it does, and I'll punch up the Qs again, this is telling me that we haven't broken out of this channel on the Qs, therefore the NASDAQ probably won't confirm and will probably get saved, and that's 100% what we did today. And light volume is expected, but some interesting notes, and I'll go into a little of the day trading side of things here, and what we'll be looking for on Monday. I'll go into that in a little while here as well. Now the SPY, let's take a quick look at the SPY. Now the SPY is well below its 200 moving average. The 200's here, the chart's down here, and we are due for a bounce in this as well, and we did get that today. The SPY, the spiders, were up $2.45 today to 144.13. All right. Now, one thing again that you need to look at, notice the volume, especially today. This is the volume candle today, and it's about 1/4 to 1/3 of the normal volume on a day. So again, keep that in perspective. Light volume, always assume light volume favors the upside. Okay, always usually does, especially in this type of market we're in right now. In addition, you have the holiday, you have Black Friday, Thanksgiving, cheerfulness, and so forth, the beginning of the Christmas season, and you're going to see in general a quick uptick, at least on this light volume nature. Now, whether or not we drop low on Monday or Tuesday, I don't know, but we could be due for a small little bounce here coming into the next few days, at least to get the stochastics and other MACD technical indicators to jump up here just a little bit. Okay, now going over a couple other things, I'm going to go intraday here, and you can see on the SPYs we had the gap down and we gapped up today. So we closed here on Wednesday, gapped up here, and just pretty much traded upwards in this channel most of the day. Look at how tight that channel is, and again, that's light volume, pure and simple price moving up here. Okay, you can see it just kind of followed the 20 moving average up right up here where we closed right up against the 200 moving average on the intraday chart. And again, this is the intraday chart of the SPYs. We'll look at the Qs and see how the Qs look there as well. And you can see the basic same. It's a little choppier here on the Qs, but you still had a channel nonetheless, in and out of that perception there, in and out of that channel. Okay, and again, we ended just a little bit above the 200 moving average. Interestingly enough, you had this movement up like this, and you saw the stochastics moving down here, which actually gives it more room for the upside, possibly come Monday for maybe a possible another move up. We'll have to monitor that very carefully and see where that goes from there. But when you have the stochastics pulling off their top like that, it often gives another boost up because the stochastics can jump again here. And if we're already trading above the 200 moving average intraday on the Qs, then you can also have another possible move up here. So we will watch things, but let's be honest, in this market you just never know. So you got to be super careful in this market to trade it, and short scalps continues to be the way to best trade this market. Just looking for in between quick swing trades overnight, or even that even is very risky. So intraday day trading is usually king right now, where you can just scalp things left and right. Okay, let's look at a couple odds and ends here, and I want to just touch on the ES futures here. And again, you see that intraday channel pretty much most of the day here. Very, very powerful move on very light volume, though. One thing I want to point out, you had oil moving up today, okay? And you had the USO. This is the USO chart, and we are kind of in this area right here now. Possible little topping pattern, but for me personally, I got to say they push oil over $100. I just have to believe that they do. You usually don't see them bring it that close to $100 multiple times and not break through. They usually fake people out the first time, maybe fake it the second time, and then the third or the fourth time it goes through. And it is trading, especially as the dollar continues to weaken, like it will go through 100. And again, remember, that's directly proportional with oil and gold is how the dollar trades, because the lower the dollar falls, gold and oil are traded in US dollars, therefore they must rise in accordance to value the same way. So it's all about buying power in US dollars here, which is getting crushed of late, and that's again why you're seeing so many overseas shoppers now coming into US, especially New York City, just buying in frenzies, because when you get so basically, they're saving $200 to $300 just by coming over here. Basically pays their flight just to buy one or two items here in the United States based on the exchange rate and how things have devalued. The dollar has devalued. All right, looking at a couple stocks now. What I want to point out here to a few interested day traders, and again, I strongly encourage joining the chat room. Should be a fun day on Monday. I'm hoping we're getting some signals here that things are actually going to start to take off. But we talked about a couple days ago, I think on Wednesday, in the video on Wednesday, we talked about Asian stocks, Chinese stocks in particular, starting to look like they were ready to bounce. And these things have been mutilated, literally crushed over the past month or so, to the point where the stochastics have flat lined to the bottom to such a point that I've almost never seen it that low. And I'm going to show you a couple charts. CHNR. Look at the stochastics down here. It's almost perfectly flat. Very rare you see a line just forming like this. And this stock was a $50 stock, and I'm in no way suggesting anyone buy this at all. I'm just using it as an example. So please consult your financial advisor before you do anything. But just to give you an idea, nice little drop here, okay? And the stochastics in tune have basically flatlined ever since here-ish. You're talking about almost on the bottom. So again, at some point you got to figure some of these stocks are going to bounce. If the market bounces, I got to believe these have a nice upside to them. In addition, SEED, S-E-E-D, is another one here. And look at the stochastics. That's even flatter. And granted, this stock has had some issues with earnings, but it was, in all fairness, a $14, $15 stock not long ago, now trading at around $5. And the stochastics, again, flat, almost perfectly flat. So whenever these do bounce, they probably have a decent bounce in them if the market bounces. And again, they're going to go with the market. When the market's good, these things will jump. If the market continues to be bad, they're going lower. So be prepared for that, and always consult your financial advisor. Now, a couple that did bounce today, GRO. And we've been watching this one over quite some time here, and basically trading at 7 to 7.50 this morning at the open, closed at $9 and change here, closing at $9.98, almost $10, up $2. So you're talking about a $7 Chinese stock, Origin Agritech Limited here, just jumping huge, all right, on 270,000 shares traded today. In addition, we also saw CHNR, which we showed before, and CHNR was up a nice 39 cents today, and everything got a nice little bounce. But overall, we can definitely watch out for some of these players. Here's another one, RCH. RCH, which is China Architectural Engineering, jumping up 50 cents almost on the day. So again, look at these charts. It's a matter of whether or not the market bounces. Should the market bounce, these things will get a great bounce across the board probably. Best of breed is always what you want to go for, and just be very, very careful here because the market easily could drop more, and I do think it's going to drop more, and that's important for me to say here. All right, regardless of what we talk about, maybe a small bounce, we're only talking a small bounce here before another leg down, so be aware of that. All right, you might have a little retrace up to in this area, but at some point we're going down to August lows on the NASDAQ, I do believe, and then the Dow and the S&P will get punished directly proportionally, I believe, in many instances. All right, guys, so be aware of that, is that you're playing for a quick scalp on the upside here should we get it. It looks like it started today, what we were expecting, but overall, be ready for more downside. Don't be crazy here. Everyone, and I speak from my perspective here, I am extremely light. I do tiny, tiny shares. I barely touch my toe into the water, and in any case, always consult your financial advisor, but as I always say, that's what I'm doing. Have a wonderful day, guys. Enjoy. We'll talk to you Monday. Take care.